Guys, welcome to episode number 12 of the Derby Career Live, and to start this episode, we're currently 6th in the table after 21 games. We are in the month of December now, so we're very much still very early on in this career mode in terms of the season. There's a lot more games to go. We've got more games to play than we have played, and at the minute, obviously Nottingham Forest are top of the league, unbeaten, but on the same points as Norwich City. So, in terms of where we are in the table, if we do win this next game, obviously we'll go on to 41 points and we'll be 8 points clear of any teams outside of the playoffs. So I think there's a nice cushion forming at the minute if we do win this game. Of course, we do actually play Sheffield Wednesday twice this month, so there's an opportunity to basically make that gap a lot bigger than it was when we started this episode. So it can be a really important episode. Obviously, we narrowly lost against Norwich. It's kind of annoying that you can't see if that was, obviously we can just check, yeah, this is the away game, so we did play at home and obviously lost 3-4 against Norwich, and obviously they're one of the teams at the top two positions, so to get points against them would be very difficult, but would be very, very beneficial. But yeah, we play some pretty easy teams in the month of December in terms of like where they are on the table. Obviously we've got Rotherham, Wycombe and Luton, and obviously now we're only a month away from January, so if you do want to leave some suggestions on, I think mainly defenders and goalkeepers, I think that's the position I'm looking for. Obviously we added, in the last episode, we added Roden and Cabango into the shortlist. I think two really good players. I've also added Will Hughes there just because there might be an outside chance we'll get him at some point. He's a quality player and only 25 years old, like he's so young still. See, I think Roden or Cabango, obviously Roden's the slightly better one. As you can see, he's worth 3 million, so he's technically 3 times the player that Cabango is. But both very good centre-backs, and obviously that's kind of been a bit of an issue defensively for us. Conceding goals is kind of our issue. We are playing 3 at the back, but I think we can find a nice mix of defence and attack. So, yeah, if you're enjoying the shows, of course, make sure you leave a like, rating, and subscribe to the channel, of course, because we are getting into the deep dive of the Championship now, and every point kind of matters between January and the end of the season, so we are going to have to make a few changes due to fitness. We'll probably put Marriott up front for Tom Lawrence, who's slightly low on fitness, and then we'll probably bring in, somebody actually just suggested to bring in Mike Tawerik a bit more, and if you guys want to see any particular player play a bit more, then just leave a comment down below, because at the minute I'm kind of rotating it as much as I can, but it's one of those where it's quite difficult at the same time. I don't know if I want to make 3 or 4 changes. I could probably get away with Bielik staying in. It's around the 85 fitness mark. That's where you kind of need to look at. And as you can see, like Joswiak's on the border. But like anything under 85, I just don't really. I don't know. It's really, for a centre back, it's not too bad because obviously they're not having to sprint as much, but yeah, we'll go with this lineup, I think. Here we are then for the game at Hillsborough against Sheffield Wednesday. I was slightly concerned actually. I didn't actually think about the kits because obviously they play in blue and white. They do have Andre Gray and Josh Windass up front, then Izzy Brown, Luongu and Pelopessi at centre mid, Calvin Harrison, Odbaggio at the wing back positions, Dominic Fora, really good centre back, Van Aken, Borna and Kieran Westwood in goal, who again is another really old goalkeeper, but still very good indeed. It's interesting to see that Dawson isn't there, and Barry Bannon, of course, but it's still a very tough team indeed. Going to be interesting to see how we do, obviously with Tawerik, Shinnie and Marriott coming into the starting lineup, and Jordan Ibe at the cam position. I just thought I'd try it out because I haven't exactly played too many games with him, and as a player that is technically 80 rated, he probably should be playing a bit more. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's, you know, Joswiak and Ibe are, you know, pretty similar in terms of stat. Obviously Joswiak's got much more pace, but both very similar style players, and getting them both into the team with all the youth players is very difficult indeed. One-sided Shinnie. I do like the combination of Shinnie and Knight, especially defensively. I think it's really, really solid, but we have got a chance here with Jack Marriott to make it 1-0, but saved by Kieran Westwood, a very good and experienced goalkeeper with a very good save. But we have got the corner here into Matt Clark and into the back of the net to make it 1-0 in the first 10 minutes. A very good header of the ball, Matt Clark, and I'm really glad we made him permanent because it just means financially at the end of the season, like when we made the signing, he was 72, I think, maybe 73, but he's gone up to a 74 rated player now, and by the end of the season he might be like 76, maybe even 77. So I think making the signing when we did just meant we just spent a lot less than we had to, because I was going to make it permanent anyway, because he's a really good left-sided centre-back. One thing I do need to do with this 3-5-2 that I do remember, because of instructions, basically you have to keep the cam to stay forward, or else he'll go essentially as a right mid for some reason. I'm not too sure why that happens. It's also the same in the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. But Sheffield Wednesday on the attack here. Good interception from Bielik. Way to cover the ball out on the right here. I think he does much better on the right, both on the game and in real life. Obviously, I don't want to call him Salah-esque, but he's that kind of player that's good at cutting inside. Now with Marriott with the shot, but is unfortunately offside. Yeah, as I said, like, he's just much better on that right hand side. But then obviously getting Burn, Ibe, and all of our wingers playing, it's such a difficult to juggle, and that's why we probably don't need attacking players, but we do need defensive. Just work with the ball here, a lot of space to run into. Plays it into Jack Marriott with the shot, but saved by Westwood. I could have probably taken a touch there and finessed it into the corner. But we have got the corner onto Matt Clark's again. And to the lap on the edge. Just trying to open up the spaces. Hopefully Marriott can get in here. And he can with the shot and with the goal. We do make it 2-0 in the 35th minute with Jack Marriott. He's, if you put him in a good scoring opportunity, it's just creating the chances. That's all you need to do with Jack Marriott. And he will score them, of course. Obviously, nice bit of play from Ard just to slip him in. And top quality finish from Jack. Wednesday on the attack here with Andre Gray. Good tackle though from Big Mike Tawerik. He hasn't played too much, and it's kind of a shame, but as I said, because of his age and kind of the programme that we're looking for in this career mode is more of a youth development, and he doesn't exactly have the best potential, so he's a good squad player to have to throw in every now and then, but in terms of development you can only really get him up a couple of ratings, which is a bit of a shame. But we have got a last chance here of the first half. Jack Marriott just holding off the defender, now pulls it back to Liam Delap, but is taken out, and that'll be half time. Chance here for Windass through the middle. It's chipped the keeper, and it's gone to the back of the net. Really crucial time to get that goal as well. With 30 minutes to go, it's very easy for Sheffield Wednesday to bring it back. As you can see, caught on the counter attack, and a good little chip shot to make it 2-1 and to get him back into it. And that's with the ball out wide here. I've taken off Bielik as well, so defensively we're not as strong as we were, and they have pulled it across the middle here. Chance to get the goal, and there they have made it 2-2. It's just like so, like having to consider fitness in the Championship with players that haven't exactly got the best of stamina, just isn't great. And obviously Jordan Rhodes does make it. Jordan Rhodes does make it 2-2 there. On to Ibe now. Don't know why Joswiak's cut in so much, but he is in a good space to get the goal and to potentially win the game here in the last 5 minutes. I really like. He seems to roam a lot, and I'm not too sure why. But it is a top quality finish from the Polish international to make it 3-2 in the last 5 minutes. Still a slim opportunity for Sheffield Wednesday to get an equaliser again, but nice bit of passing football, of course. Just again, Jordan Ibe with the assist, and he seems okay in that role, but I think he's slightly better out wide, of course. And that is his 5th goal of the season. There we go, full time against Sheffield Wednesday. After we going 2-0 up and then making it 2-2, I wasn't very optimistic, but we did get a late winner with Kamil Gozwiak to make it 3-2 and to secure all 3 points. As you can see, they had 2 shots and scored both of them, which is how frustrating it is playing against the computer on ultimate difficulty. But at the same time, if we didn't have it like that, we'd be winning every single game. Bit of development here to Jack Marriott. He has gone to a complete striker, so he does have 5-star weak foot and 5-star skills now, so it's a little bit broken. I don't know, I think it happens a little bit too fast, the skill moves and weak foot. If I was going to give any feedback to EA, it's just a bit too, like, we're just about hit December, and I've gone from a player with 2-star skills and 3-star weak foot to 5/5. So it's, I just feel I think it needs a slight tweak. We will have a quick look through, as you can see again. Liam Delap with 5-star, 5-star as well. So I've just realised that we can't actually change Dwayne Holmes to a centre forward. It's going to take another 15 weeks. So it seems like you kind of have a small window to make that change, which is quite interesting. I don't think we do need to do it now, so I will just get his skill moves up to 4-star skills. Again, like Nathan Byrne with 5-star weak foot and 4-star skills. One of the players that I do want to play a little bit more with, but just haven't really had the opportunity because of just all the wide players and everything we do have at the club. Lewis Sibley should be back pretty soon. Let me just have a quick look and see when Louis will be back. Let me just go in the squad hub. It's towards the bottom because he is a centre forward, of course, and he will be back in 3 weeks, so about the end of the month, so he should be back for January fully fit. So yeah, let's go simulate up to this next game against Rotherham, because they are going to be an interesting one, because obviously we struggled in the Cardiff game, who are towards the bottom. They're in 20th, so Rotherham at 23rd. It might be a bit of a tougher game. Generally, when you play against teams towards the bottom, they're more difficult to beat than the teams at the top, which is a bit odd, but that's the game we play. We do have 7 losses so far, but 13 wins and 2 draws. I think we're at the right level. I don't think we can do much about it. Obviously, conceding goals is a big bit of an issue. We have conceded pretty much twice the amount of any team around us. But then again, we have scored probably twice the amount of goals. So it's one of those where there's a lot of goals in our games. And obviously the computer sim games are probably only like 1-0s and 2-0s and stuff like that. Keller Roos does want to play the next game. I just don't, like, again, a goalkeeper that's like 28 and not really going to grow too much. I don't see the benefit of playing him for that game. So we are going to have to make a few changes due to fitness, which is a bit of a concern. But I think I might be tempted to put Nathan Byrne on that right-hand side, put Whittaker on the left. Maybe push Lawrence back into centre forward, and then put Rooney up front. So one thing I do want to check and see if we can potentially, because Andre Wisdom's contract is a bit of an issue. Obviously it's going to be expiring potentially at the end of the season. It doesn't look like he wants to sign a new contract, so I think because he's worth about 3.5 million, if we use him as a bargaining chip basically to sign Roden, that's probably the best thing we can do, because obviously we don't want to get into January and then a club just signing them on a pre-contract. So I just don't think we're going to be able to do anything with Andre Wisdom other than use him to sell or to put him into a transfer. So if we just go for a straight swap, like for like, hopefully this will work, because as you can see, Wisdom's worth $500,000 more than Roden, but obviously Roden's got much better potential. But it'll be interesting down the line, of course, if we do annoy players. They'll kind of force their move out of the club, and as you can see, they are interested, but they want a 2%. I don't know if I want to just give them the 2%, because at 2%, like, it's just such a small, insignificant amount of money. I don't want to ruin the deal, so I think we'll go accept that deal for Wisdom in a swap deal with Roden, a really good centre back, and yeah, we can go into the negotiations now for the contract. Of course, he will probably be on cheaper wages than Andre Wisdom, so in terms of finances it might save us a bit of money, and obviously we're getting a much better younger centre-back. So yeah, let's go and see what kind of wages he's interested in. Obviously we do have a number of centre-backs at the club, so he's only looking for a rotation role, and that's kind of what I want, because of all the centre-backs we do have, it's very difficult to get them all playing at the same time. So we'll give him a 4-year deal on a rotation role. He probably will go into the lineup straight away anyway when we do sign him. But I think it's a good little deal to do, just to basically sort the Wisdom deal out. Obviously we don't know his wage. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I think Marritt's on about 11k. So I think if we go for something about there, that should be about right, because they're about the same rating. And there we go, we do sign Joe Rodon. Obviously, he won't be signing until we do hit the January transfer window, but it's a deal done before the window opens. It just means Andre Wisdom is unfortunately leaving the club, but it was going to happen anyway, whether it be now or at the end of the season. I just thought, in terms of development for the future, obviously we can get a good 6 months out of Rodon, and hopefully get him up to Andre Wisdom's rating. And he's obviously a player that Derby have got quite a few centre-backs at the club as well in real life, and it might happen that Wisdom wants more for first-team football, and obviously Derby can't give it him. So let's go into the next game against Rotherham, a team that are in the relegation zone at the minute. We have had to make a few changes due to fitness. There's still a very strong lineup. There's very good players in here. Obviously, Byrne on that right-hand side. I'm not too sure if I should play Wisdom now that he's left the club. He's obviously still a very good player, technically 80 rated. Or do I put in somebody that's obviously going to be staying at the club? Because, like, if realistically this happened in real life, I don't think Wisdom would be playing. So I think the only right thing to do is put George Evans in, and hopefully that will speed up the process of Evans moving to a centre-back. I might just put Forsyth in just because Curtis Davis doesn't have any sharpness, so I think he should slot in quite nicely there. I think he's about 10 or 8 weeks away from moving to a centre-back, so once that does happen, he will technically go to a he should go to a +5, so we go to a 75 rated centre-back. 69 goals in 22 games so far this season. If we go at that current rate, we should be at about 130 goals, maybe 140. It's always good doing maths live on the videos, of course, and yeah, it's about 140 goals for us at the end of the season. So yeah, if we can maybe hit the 150 mark, that would be just a nice little bonus. So looking at their team, they are playing a 4-4-2 with Jonathan in goal, then Joe Mattock, McDonald, Tilt, and Harding, then Ogbene and Ogbene, not too sure how you say his name, Sadlier, Crooks, Lindsay, Carvacell, and Matt Smith up top. A very tall striker indeed, so it'll be interesting to see how our back three do deal with a front two. We don't play against the front two too often. Technically, Sheffield Wednesday did, but it was obviously a 5 at the back instead of the 4-4-2. It's just a bit, I don't know, the competitor mode is okay, because it makes things more competitive, obviously, but when teams like Rotherham are like doing dragbacks and all these skill moves, when realistically in real life they just would never play this kind of football, it is quite interesting. We can't seem to get a touch of the ball as well. Oh, Evans has missed it this game. Why has he done that? Why has he just completely fluffed his lines there and given Rotherham the early lead with the goal? Number 24 is Matt Smith, I think. I don't know if Matt... That's not... I think, no. I'm thinking of the Millwall striker. I thought he was at Rotherham originally, I'm pretty sure. Or is it him? I don't know, he just looks a bit short. Michael Smith. Who's Michael Smith? Never heard of him. But he has got the goal to make it 1-0. But yeah, a bit of a shame, Evans, with the mistake. Obviously, we could potentially... Obviously, Tuarik's fitness was a bit low for this game, but I think in future games we could probably put Tuarik or Curtis Davis in. Rotherham on the attack here again. Crooks to Vassell. Now slipped into Ogbene and into the back of the net, and it's 2-0. As I said, the teams at the bottom are just way more difficult to beat than the teams at the top, and it just shows we haven't played against a 4-4-2 too much. I don't think we've played at all, and that's probably why they're getting so much space, especially out wide, with the wingers and the fullbacks. Chance here in the box to make it 3-0, and they do. Like, we're playing against Rotherham, we just lose it 3-0. But like that Sheffield Wednesday game, who were in 7th, really easy. Well, there's a stage where they got a couple of goals, but it was compared to this, where if you go on the attack against Rotherham, there's literally no space. As you can see, the gap between the defence and the midfield is nowhere. Sadler across to Crooks, now into Vassell. It's in the box with Smith, pulls it back with a ridiculous chip, and they make it 4-0. And I think it's just time to make some changes because it's just clearly not working. I might even be tempted to go to just a default 4-2-3-1 at this point. It's getting a bit ridiculous, and we need to be doing something a little bit more productive. Fortunately, we do have Craig Forsyth on the bench just to bring on at left back. But it's one of those where obviously this 3-5-2 isn't going to work against every single team. We do need to bring on a winger, and I think that should work. Chance here for Holmes. It's only really goal difference that we can do at this point, but we have got the goal there with Hutchinson. I've just put him off the bench just because we are losing 4-0. I thought, why not just give him a few minutes? And I think that's his first goal for the club, so I guess it's a consolation, but I doubt we're going to get 3 goals in the last 20 minutes now. Chance here for Holmes out wide. Can we make it 4-2 and potentially 15 minutes? It's doable. We just got to skip these replays, and just like in the Swansea game, we were 3-0 down in that game and made it 4-3, so if we can make 4-4 in this game, I'll take it at this point. On the edge here, into Hurst. Wonder if he's related to Jeff Hurst. With the shot with Proxy into the back of the net. And that's that comeback over, unfortunately. Yeah, like I think it must be an issue with, I don't know, the difficulty you play against. When you're playing teams at the top, like they're still tough at the top, but when you're playing teams in the bottom 3, especially, those games are just so much more difficult than games like mid-table teams that obviously are much better. But Delap has gone through here to hit the post, and that's just our luck really. This game, it's not really gone our way at all, and Rotherham have dominated. Chance here for Whittaker. And there's another goal. I guess we've scored 3 goals. We've just defensively been really, really poor, and I don't know why we celebrate at 5-3, but yeah, it's just been one of those games where Rotherham have scored essentially every shot they've taken. And there we go, full time against Rotherham, 8-goal thriller. Unfortunately losing the game, and one of our objectives is actually to win 5 away games in a row, and I just don't know how we're going to be able to achieve that. As you can see, they had 7 shots and scored 5. We had 3 shots on target and scored all 3 shots on target. Dwayne Holmes did well off the bench, but yeah, I just don't know how to basically make us better defensively other than changing formation to like a 5-3-2 or something. I just think against some of these teams in the bottom 3 especially, you struggle quite badly, but we do have Wickham next, so again we can test out the theory of whether teams in the relegation zone are harder to play. I'm not too fussed because obviously we're still in the playoffs by 5 points, and we do play Sheffield Wednesday again, I think at home, so it should be slightly easier that game. And yeah, there's a bit of a gap between us and Forest as well, and they have actually lost their first game of the season. Let me just check who that was against, because it'll be just quite entertaining to see. Was it in December? Oh yeah, we need to move up to previous fixtures, and it was Sheffield Wednesday, so the team we just beat top of the table Forest. Calories is having a bit of a kick-off because he didn't play the last game. I just don't like. I don't feel like changing the goalkeeper. Between Roos and Marshall, there's not much between them really. But we do have our final scout report now. We could have waited until after the game to see, but he is 70 rated at the minute, with 79 strength. Obviously, a very good young centre back, 6'4" as well. Mark Gee is 65 rated, obviously on loan from Chelsea, so won't be able to sign him. Not exactly the strongest, as you can see. Much better stats on Roden in the important areas. And Ben Cabango is 63 rated, so I wouldn't mind Ben Cabango as a bit of a long-term development option. He's kind of like what we've already got in what's his face, Brown and Buchanan. I am scouting Jane Bogle and Max Lowe, of course, just because Sheffield Wednesday are actually in the relegation zone in the Premier League. I'll quickly show you what I'm basically looking at. Is obviously at the end of this season, whoever does get relegated are more than likely going to move to a team that is promoted. So I always keep an eye on the Premier League. Sheffield Wednesday, West Ham and Aston Villa, the current bottom 3, but there's still, up to like basically maybe even Newcastle that bottom 8 all could very easily fall into the relegation zone. So it's really interesting to see that Liverpool are 7th in the league, Man City top, and then Manchester United in 5th. Player returning from injury is Lewis Sibley. Obviously we have the message of potentially losing players, and obviously Waghorn and Jozasun are worth a bit of money. I think they're both transfer listed. I'm pretty sure they should be. If we just go over to financial and then sort this by low to high. Oh, he's not transfer listed, so maybe transfer listed Martin Waghorn's a good idea. We might get an offer for him. Jozasun is transfer listed, but it's looking unlikely. But there's like 25 grand in wages there that we could easily move on. We will transfer list as well Ravas, because again, like a 59 rated goalkeeper is not exactly going to help me too much in this career mode at any point. So yeah, we do have the game on the 19th of December against Wycombe, so a very tough opposition if the last game is anything to go by, but we do have a fully fit team for this game, so things should go a little bit more productive. We will make changes to the lineup just because we do have a few players back from fitness, such as Jordan Ivan, a few others. So we can put Sibley on the bench, I think, and if we get the option late on in the game, we can always do that, just to slowly build up that fitness over the course of the next few games. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we do against Wycombe. Obviously Akin Fenwell potentially up front will be a very interesting conundrum. Here we are then back at home against Wycombe. They are in our yellow kit for this game. We have had to make a few changes just to freshen up the side. Of course, we've gone for Mike Twerrick in the centre-back role instead of Evans in the previous game, just to hopefully try and find that defensive solution until Roden does come in, of course. Here's the Wycombe team for today's game then. They do have Yates in goal, Grimmer and Jacobson at the fullback position, Stewart and Charles in the middle, Bloomfield, Gape and Thompson in the midfield 3, then Akin Fenwell, David Wheeler and Onyedima out on the left-hand side. Obviously it's going to be very interesting to see how we do with Akin Fenwell up front, obviously the strongest player on the game, I think. I don't know if he's still the strongest, but he's still got like 97 strength, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he does any drag backs in this game. Like to Whittaker, it would be nice if Whittaker just had about 10 more pace, just to give him that extra yard of space, but Delap with the goal there to make it 1-0 in the first 6 minutes. Very similar to the Watford goal that didn't actually go into the edit. Somehow it got deleted, unfortunately, in the Watford win in a couple of episodes ago, and it was identical to that goal basically. So if you want to know what the Watford, we are playing against a team in yellow as well, so it was essentially that goal, with Morgan Whittaker just coming in from that right hand side, and Liam Delap with his 11th goal of the season, obviously doing very well indeed at the minute. And you know, as long as we can get him towards the 70 mark by the end of the season, I think he should do well in the Premier League if we get promoted. Chance here for Lawrence through the middle. Can we make it 2-0? Oh, he's missed. How has he done that? I don't know how he's missed that goal. I genuinely don't know how. Like that is a 10 out of 10 goal every time, but not that time. I mean, he's getting a booking for a late tackle as well. We had this. That might be one of the worst misses I've seen in quite a while in this game. Chance here in the box with Wycombe. It's into Akin Fenwell and into the back of the net to make it 1-1 in the 41st minute. Obviously the big beast himself. It's kind of interesting that he has got a scanned face as a league, well, as a championship player now, but was originally a League One player, and he has just kind of just punched Liam Delap there. Just literally just gone through him. But yeah, I was throwing it, and it did happen. See, it just means you can like open things up a bit, and Rooney can orchestrate how the attack goes. Jason Knight here in the box now, saved by the keeper. I was hoping Delap would be there for the rebound. Good on the ball here into Lawrence, across to Knight. Good little run through the middle here from Lawrence, but just about got it and into the back of the net. Like that was the more difficult goal, and he scored it. But the one where he had all the acres and all the time in the world, misses it. And it's just like, it's this game. It's just funny, and yeah, we do get the goal there with Tom Lawrence to get us back into the lead And it does seem to work with Rooney at centre mid and Knight further out on the right. Obviously Knight's not natural on that right mid spot, but a very good runner of the ball, so can do the job. And I think we will make some changes actually, just to freshen things up. Obviously, you can get Jack Marriott up front. I won't put Sibley on. I don't think we can. Can we sub Sibley on? No. So, like, I don't know if that's a glitch or not, because pre-game he had the bandage injury, and I don't get why I was able to put him on the bench if he was injured, and I can't sub him on. So, a little bit odd. It means we have one less substitution as an option. I don't know. I think Rooney's one of them where he's brilliant, but I think when you get into the last 20 minutes of the game, you just don't want a team running at you with that kind of player. And I think we will. I think we'll even look to bring on Graham Shinney for Jason Knight, and then just go quite defensive and hopefully hold off for the win. Chance here for Wickham, 65th minute. Nice bit of skill from Onyedinma. Pulled across. Now with the deflection. The deflection let that in there. And they have made it 2-2. I think it came off Christian Bielik. But it might have been... I don't know. I think he would have been offside, wouldn't he? Yeah, it was Bielik just swinging a foot at it. And gave no chance for Marshall. But I think a new goalkeeper is definitely going to be on the shopping list since Marshall is 35. He's not going to grow at all. And he's, if anything, just going to decline in stats. So we have to make a goalkeeper sign-in. And we may need to do it before January. Because a few we have on the shortlist are expiring at the end of the season, so you won't be able to sign them in January. Chance here for Lawrence though. Pulls it back. Burden to Marriott. Can he have the pace to go around the defence? Now into the lap. Or Lawrence. Lawrence with the second bite, and there we go. It's just like trying to win these games is just super difficult, and I do like it because it makes it competitive. And Tom Lawrence with another great goal. I did see a comment, somebody said sell Tom Lawrence, and I was like, I don't think so. I think he's one of our better players. Super good. Like, obviously just got a bit of everything to him, and yeah, gets us back into the lead. Marriott here with the counter-attack. As you can see, you just use the pace of Marriott to run through the defence and hopefully make it 4-2, and there we go. There's the game wrapped up nicely. And it was a very tough game indeed against Wickham, and it kind of proves my point that teams in the relegation zone, it's like playing against top of the league basically. That they're just super good teams, and slightly unlucky to lose this game. Wickham, I think they maybe deserved a point, but we do get 3 points from this game, which is very important since we did lose the last game against Rotherham. As you can see, they had 4 shots, scored 2 of them. But yeah, Jack Marriott just coming off the bench is just super helpful. So with that win, we do actually move up to 5th in the table after 24 games. We're on 44 points. And as you can see, there's a bit of a gap between us and the top 3. There's like a good 9 or 10 points, and even 13 points between us and Nottingham Forest. So they have lost another game. Oh no, they haven't. Norwich have gone top. That's interesting, because Forest have drawn so many games. Norwich have gone top on 57, then Forest on 55. So, you know, if we can slowly close that gap and get there towards the end of the season, that'd be great. So we are on Christmas Eve now. So basically, I'm going to wait for your guys' responses to see what we should be signing. But I think what we need to sign is essentially a striker and a goalkeeper. Goalkeeper's the number one. We have to make a goalkeeper signing because I just don't think Marshall's... If you look at the stats now, Roos has got much better diving, essentially the same positioning, essentially the same reflexes, and obviously he is 35, so he's just not going to grow in stats, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, we need a good goalkeeper. I think that's what we need to prevent some of the goals going in, definitely, and then a striker, just to probably replace Martin Waghorn. We have had a bit of growth, which is always great to see. Kamil Jozwiak going to a 76, Hutchinson to a 60, he was a 59 I think before. Let me just quickly go through and see if anyone else has grown or gone down in stats. Mike Twerik's done okay in the games that I have thrown him in as well. But as you can see, I think just because of the physical pace in that back three, we kind of do need a bit of pace with Evans whenever needs be. But at the same time, we do need to take Wisdom out. So there you go, Twerik's in the team. So we've got a bit of a run with Twerik now between now and when Roden comes in. I think that's a really good young signing. As you can see on the bench at the minute, we've got Evans, who's technically a CDM. And obviously we'll probably look to move on maybe Curtis Davis or Craig Forsyth, just because we don't need so many players, especially like Josephson as well. We have transfer listed Martin Waghorn. It's a bit of a shame we haven't had the opportunity to play Waghorn. But I think just, I don't know, he's just one of those where obviously at 30 years old he's not going to grow in ratings. Still got very good stats at 71 shooting and 76 physical. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. Make sure you do leave a like rating if you are enjoying this series. It just lets me know that you are enjoying these videos, and I'll continue to upload them. So yeah, I think a goalkeeper for sure. At the minute we've got, who have we got? Let me just quickly have a look as the goalkeepers. So we've got Jack Butland, who I don't really want to be spending 4 million. That goalkeeper is ridiculously expensive at 17 million, so we will be removing Radu from the shortlist. I think something kind of like Christian Walton, you know, like 25 years old and around 70 rated. Or maybe an older goalkeeper like Tom Heaton, or somebody who was linked to us but probably is just sat on the Tottenham Hotspur bench. It is Joe Hart, of course. You know, he is a couple of years younger, and he wouldn't exactly cost us too much. I think that's not a bad idea. I don't mind paying like $1 million for a goalkeeper, if he's going to be a quick, easy improvement. So as you can see, Joe Hart he's not going to be able to move yet, and it's kind of annoying that he hasn't got a player face, because EA did some stupid thing where they basically removed all the player faces that were free agents but were going to sign anyway because the transfer window is still open. But once the transfer window does open, I reckon we could probably even look for like a swap deal with, like, I don't know, somebody plus Joe Hart, and I think that's a pretty easy signing to make if need be. With 73 positioning, 76 reflexes and 72 diving, obviously with that +3 that he would get from being in the team and good morale, would go up to a 78. So it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, let me know what you think about Joe Hart in the comment section down below, whether we should sign him or go for somebody a little bit younger and look to develop him between now and the end of the season. So yeah, hopefully guys did enjoy the episode. Leave a like rating if you did enjoy, and see you soon. Bye.